Let's get started with Charlie Kirk pouring honey on another goat, Uncle Shaky Gerger.
Listen to the Young Turks. The Young Turks had it right. They should have went full economic populist, and they should have promised UBI, universal basic income. They should have went full anti-billionaire class.
Oh, and Social Security.
They should also said, you know what, Donald Trump is right on immigration, but these are the things wrong with it. They should have went full socialist nationalist,
Bro, they should have went full socialist nationalist, which is wild. Okay. On the one hand, he's recognizing that like left-wing economic sentiment is popular, but also simultaneously he just said Nazi. Like the Democrats need to go full Nazi. That's a crazy thing to just openly say. Yeah, he should have gone full socialist nationalist, or maybe some people might call that national socialist. Just a little national socialism. What's wrong? That's never been tried before.
Social Security.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, expand Social Security, universal basic income. They should, like, that would have been dangerous for us to run against.
Totally.
Instead, again,
instead they got Liz Cheney.
No, we talked about this on Battleground one time.
Well,
we talked about having a populist
We did with
off.
Biden, though. I'm
Look,
sorry,
all you have to do is look at Denmark. Denmark is a country. Their left-wing party has been in power forever. All they had to do is bite the bullet and say, okay, we're doing an immigration pause. Just pause immigration, and suddenly you can get away with so much more social democratic stuff.
Yeah, but here's
single payer, all of that. You just
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the one thing that was stopping Americans from doing socialism was the immigration. That's right. Any day now, we're gonna have bountiful social democracy. Any moment now, dude. It's slated to happen. Trust. These people have brainworms. I mean, they don't believe what they're saying either, honestly. The only part that is important about this commentary that I think holds weight is that they also recognize the dangers of left-wing economic populism. That's the only thing you should take seriously. That's it. They know how hard it is to go up against left-wing economic populism, a resounding message that hyper-focuses on people's material realities and addresses them and, personally has real actionable solutions that will make people's lives better. There is no counter to that from the Republican Party. But luckily enough for the Republican Party, they don't ever have to counter that because the Democrats are not interested in that whatsoever.
the bullet and say it's okay to restrict immigration and not make it this deranged priority to replace the citizens of your own country and gloat about it and how you're like getting a better group of people in. If you don't do that, you can win elections.
But Blake,
the Young Turks had it figured out. Just one sec. I'm telling you, Cenk and Anna Kasparian, they were nice having them on the show. They saw it, and I was like, geez, if they run that campaign, that's dangerous. I hope this gets clipped up and sent to them because they were completely ignored by the Democrat Party. Like, completely ignored.
Oh, they were put in a corner.
And exactly. And they were the only ones that understood.
It's bizarre as hell because Charlie Kirk's political instincts are cheeks. No, I think these guys understand that left-wing economic populism is resilient and strong and popular and would be a real fight that they would have to go up against. But Republicans are so lucky that they never have to fight against that. And then they can always fight on their own terms by constantly making a big fuss about hyper-specific, marginalized populations that have no counter-messaging platform and no strategy to advocate for their humanity. It's fantastic. Democrats never give them something to fight against because Democrats don't fight for anything. That's it. Like, on the simplest terms, if you don't want to think about the underlying material harm and what the Democrats must do to go against their own corporate benefactors to solve some of these systemic issues, if you don't want to talk about policy like that, think about it in the simplest terms possible. If the Democrats give something to the Republicans to fight against, if they push the boundary in a certain direction, Republicans are going to hyper-focus on that. If you do Medicare for all, they're going to go, oh, we don't want that. That's communism. That's socialism. That's bad. That's bad. Make them make that argument. Show them as the immoral, corporate-backed, parasitic monsters that they are. Just dangle it in front of them. Dangle anything in front of them, and they'll grab onto it. And in that process, they won't have any time to shit on trans people because now they're just hyper-focused on an actual actionable policy that they must undermine because they are slaves to the corporate benefactors. But Democrats don't do that because Democrats themselves are also reactionary. So they end up getting dominated by the Republicans over and over again. Didn't work for abortion, though. Is this really different? Brother, what are you talking about? The abortion issue is exactly what I'm talking about. The Republicans undermined civil liberties for Americans across the board. 50% of Americans lost their opportunity to be able to get this medical procedure done, right? They removed from entire chunks of the population, especially in red states, women's bodily autonomy, right? They took that away. And then liberals came up after that and tried to, fundraise off of that. That's another example of the Republicans pushing the boundaries, pushing the political conversation, pushing people's understanding of American politics further and further into the right. Democrats played catch up in that situation. If they actually had a solution for it, they would have actively whipped the votes and instilled a moral panic towards abortion a long time ago. They would have utilized the bully pulpit and would have gotten enough assurances. They would have turned around and they would have secured the people's right to get a medical coverage.
Like, you could have expanded the Democrat base. That would have been so scary to run against. If they would have run on like legalization of weed, universal basic income, strict immigration. I'm serious. Strict immigration, ending the wars, like the old Bernie Sanders portfolio.
Yeah.
Instead, Kamala went for the cheap corporate cash. And because everyone said you need to finance your campaign against Trump. And
well, here's the reason why, though, Charlie. and I think we figured this out, is that the only way that the uniparty hacks can fund war is by open borders.
What are you saying? Uniparty hacks? Your president is the number one uniparty hack. He's putting Marco Rubio in charge of the State Department. Like, what are you talking about? These guys live in an alternative plane of existence. They like fantasize that Donald Trump is actually this secretly based anti-war guy. And then they act like they're all shocked and shit when he's not. I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, they don't really care. They like the wars that Donald Trump also facilitates, participates in. And yeah, I don't know. They just act like it's a real nuisance. Oh man, I am really upset. I am really personally upset that Donald Trump is continuing the wars, but like, I don't think he gives a shit.
It's very clear. They have to be able to fund the entire enterprise of war through this, or they're tied together, lockstep, at the hip. They have to do all of that, and that's what's being exposed right now, is that you have all these people who have committed themselves to war, and they've committed themselves to China and cheap labor. And so open borders, China, and big war propaganda is them. That's them. And this is what Donald Trump has exposed. This is what this entire movement has exposed. And it's the most critical time that it could possibly ever happen, because if we had not won, who knows what would happen? We would have been in World War III, subservient to China for the rest of our lives, and we wouldn't have a culture here at all. There would be no American culture. It would be completely overrun. All that takes a step back, and we'd be able to move forward and continue to create an American culture that's important to the future of the country.
Okay, the last part of this was just like psychotic hallucinations. The only important takeaway from this is that Charlie Kirk and others within the Republican commentary field understand the value of left-wing economic populism. And when Republicans or when Democrats themselves do not value that and fill the space with any sort of serious commentary or any sort of like reasonable policy prescriptions, ultimately the Republicans can lie about it.